Hello, everyone. I am Adam, and thank you for joining me for this week's development update and community Q&A session for Demiplane. We have so many exciting things going on. Every single day coming into the office is a literal joy. I wake up in the morning, and I don't do coffee or anything like that, but I wake up in the morning, and my pick me up is getting a shower first thing. And so I get in the shower and then I start just dreaming about all the fun that I'm going to have for the day. And so, very, very blessed to be able to work on all of this stuff. And I cannot wait for everyone to see everything that we are working on. Speaking of that, today, our lineup, as always, we're going to talk about latest updates. Then we're going to talk about what's upcoming, and we are going to leave plenty of time for questions. And so if you have questions, you can start asking those now in chat by simply typing question colon. I don't know if the colon is needed or not. Like, people can maybe test that out. I don't know. But question, and then ask the question, and then we will get to those. We have a magical thing that will collect them, and we will get to those at the end of the show. But we do have some sneak peeks today of some Lost Omens content and some of the primers that we are working on in the game compendium. So again, lots and lots of fun stuff headed your way, and looking forward to showing some of that off here in just a little while. So we've got Pathfinder Nexus. Phase 2 of early access is where we find ourselves at this moment in time. And of course, phase 3, as we'll talk about in upcoming, is the character management piece. And so we're getting pretty close to a point where we might show you some sneak peeks of, the concepts for the digital character sheet and the character builder. But we are working very hard on that. We're very excited to share more about just the game engine that's making that character builder work and everything else in the coming months. But with phase 2, we are working on game compendium primers, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what those are and how they're shaping up here in just a moment. And then I wanted to provide the update that we have submitted to Paizo for approval. I think the last couple of weeks I had talked about we were doing 3 of the Lost Omens books, and then we were doing 6 of them. And I'm very, very happy to report that, with a little bit of a weekend push, we have actually submitted 4 additional Lost Omens books, and that is going to be all of the Lost Omens content that is currently released for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And of course, we do have a couple of other products that are on the way, Knights of Lastwall. So the idea is with Lost Omens content, we are, once this is all approved through Paizo, so we don't have that approval yet, and in their defense, we have moved very, very quickly here and kind of walked up to their doorstep and said, hey, can you review 10 books, all at one time, because we're playing catch up right here. So they are working on the review there and providing the approval. But we do have all of that content. So as soon as we get the word that that is approved, we're going to be able to release those books into the digital reader. And then what we're working on now, that the books are in great shape. And again, I'm going to show you how those are coming together here in just a moment. But we are working on the game elements from those books. So now that we have spells listing, items, creatures, backgrounds, and so on, I always forget feats when I'm doing the listings. And I think it's because feats are, possibly the most important part of the game. They're everywhere, and I think of those as a default. But yeah, feats listing, all of those things. We are now working on making sure that all of the content that is in all 10 of these Lost Omens books is fully updated into the game compendium. And as we have shared before, the game compendium itself is freely accessible because all of the game mechanics for Pathfinder are available for free out there. And so all of that content is going to be in the game compendium, hopefully by the time that we get the approval for these 10 different books. And as those start to go live, you will see that reflected in the game compendium. If it's not immediately when those books are added into early access, it will be very, very quickly after, because this is our number one priority for the game content team this week. So we're working through all of that. So plenty of activity going on, lots of updates, and that is the latest of where we are. So now I wanted to go into a sneak peek of the upcoming release that is about to hit, in the next few days. And so the release itself is going to bring us primers into the game compendium, and I'll show those off actually last here. But then first, I wanted to get into how these Lost Omens books are shaping up. So to do that, first of all, I actually wanted to jump into Secrets of Magic for a little while, because this is one of the first places that we were able to really start to see what we could do to bring some of the magic that is Pathfinder art and Pathfinder layout. The art direction for Paizo is just absolutely incredible, and we love how the books shape up. And so we have taken special care to not just simply take the words on the page and throw them onto a web page to make them look like a word processor file or something. That's not what we're into here. We want the same kind of polish to come to the digital product that we see in these incredible books that just have just such amazing layout and everything else. And so for Secrets of Magic, this is one of the first places that we were like, hey, they're doing some really, really interesting things with these flourishes and the different kinds of box content that they're using in the book. And of course, between what we have here on the web and what the book is, it's not going to be able to be one-to-one in many cases because of just the limitations of the current capabilities of HTML and CSS and everything else. But all of those things are advancing pretty rapidly, and we've been able to do again some just really, really bespoke, interesting things with the books. And so this is where we started to do this in the rule books. And of course, Guns and Gears has some really interesting components that it has coming together as well. And so we were able to do again lots and lots of fun with some of the rule books. So as we started getting into Lost Omens content, we saw that there were plenty of opportunities for some really, really special things. And so, for instance, with the character guide, this is one, again, that is not released yet, but once we get the approval, it will be. Just all of this stuff that is available in the books. The best part about this is, again, with Pathfinder Nexus, we are at the utmost concerned about making sure that this content is available and accessible on any type of device. And so this is all going to work all the way down to the smallest of phones. And it's still going to look great and really behave great. And so again, with dwarves, all of this starting to come together, and again, just echoing the book as much as we can. This one is one that I'm really excited about, which is the World Guide. And this one, I'll just freely say this one was a little bit of a pain to figure out how we were going to do some of these opening sections on some of these regions that the World Guide is talking about. But with Broken Lands, we have the Broken Lands here. We've got this, really, really nice setup where this is, coming together. We have the nations, people, languages, factions, religions, resources. All of this is in this kind of presentation, this kind of format. And again, this all will scale down to mobile, and it shows the right way there. So again, lots and lots of bespoke elements that we're able to pull out in this kind of content, and we can't wait for you to get your hands on it. I liked Legends too. I won't go through all 10 of these, but but we're doing some really, really fun things. I think that this A through G section is one that had a ton of stuff. Yeah, so we have our infernal contract going on here. And if you've got the book, you're familiar with how that looks. We've got all of our boxes kind of reflected from the book. Let me do a different kind of scroll here since that is moving. This is a big page here, but just really, really pretty the way that this stuff comes in the book. And then we end up getting a really nice picture of it here on the website and the service for Pathfinder Nexus. And let's see, I'm trying to find my goblins. Where are my goblins? Oh, here we go. We've got the Iron Fang recruit manual. And so the proper expression aids negotiations, one of my favorite. So if you're an Iron Fang goblin and you're trying to interact with humans, you need to make sure that you have kind of a smirky smile instead of looking like you're going to eat them or whatever would happen there. So all of this starting to come together. And then I think my absolute favorite was, oh yeah, this beauty right here. So this is a wonderful little fairy tale, cautionary tale thing that's going on here. But again, all of this, a ton of fun for the team to come through here and really, really make that content fly off the page, the book page, and do something really, really, unique and interesting as it comes into Pathfinder Nexus. So then next, I'm going to jump over into something that is not out yet, but is going to be part of the upcoming release, and that is going to be primers, we call these. So this is part of the game compendium. And as you might have noticed, as we release spells and items and creatures and feats and so on, I included feats in the list that time. As we released all of that, you might be asking, where are classes? Where are ancestries? Where are archetypes? These are huge, huge components of the game. And the reason that they're not included in those listings is because we display these more complex game mechanics in a different way, and that is primers. And so we've got classes, and I really love this, that you can just start typing, because Pathfinder is adding more and more classes all the time. And so really, really quick and easy to find what you're looking for here. But as you jump into these classes, it's going to give you a breakdown of everything that is going on with the Bard. And the really important thing here, I chose Bard because Bard's my favorite. So let that be known out there. Pretty much in any game, any time, whether it's Pathfinder or anything else, Bard is typically my favorite. And so as we're getting into this, you can see this is a really important part that I skipped right over, but that is, as we are talking about the different muses for the Bard. With muses, you have 3 that are available in the core rulebook: the Enigma, the Maestro, Polymath. But then there is a warrior muse that is available in the advanced player's guide. And so again, this is where, for the Bard, anything involving a Bard, you would see it here. And so this is the important thing about these primers, is that it's going to aggregate that across all of the books. And so for the warrior and the advanced player's guide, you're going to see that combined here with all of the other muses that are available for the Bard. And naturally, this is fundamental building blocks for how this is going to work in the character builder. And so you'll be able to see all of the options in one place. So all of this is a stair step. We start with the content itself in the digital reader. We start to parse that content and get it into more usable formats. And you're going to start to see that come online with the game compendium. And then we're going to further leverage that as we get into character management in the 3rd phase of early access. And so the other thing that is really interesting here is that for as you're looking for Bard feats here, and again, pardon some of the mess, some of this stuff, for instance, these feats absolutely have short descriptions and benefits and stuff, so as that comes out, these are all this is all part of the data content entry that is going on right now as we're prepping for the release of some of this. But ultimately, with all of this, bard feats, etc., you're going to have a situation where with that, you're going to show all the feats. Well, this is a component that looks just like our listing, and then this listing is. Oh, I've got somebody messaging me popping up on my screen. I want to make sure that there's. Yep. Yep. Okay. Perfect. All right. I got a message just in case that the Book of the Dead got delayed yesterday, and that's fine. That might give me a weekend back where we don't have to crunch to get that one out quite in time. So I'm sorry, fans, that the Book of the Dead is potentially delayed. It looks like, but very, very happy that we are going to be able to get that one in with very little problem now. But with this feat listing in this case, any bard feat that's coming from any source, just like in the other part of the game compendium where the feats are actually listed, that is right here on the bard, and it's always going to update as we put new books in and new bard feats become available. Same thing with bard focus spells. You can see all of those here as well. So these are embedded components that are inside this primer, and gives you everything that you might want to know about a bard. Another thing that I can say is, as we start getting into these sample build type components here, this is where in the future, as Paizo, and these are some early discussions we've had with Paizo, there could be other sample builds that maybe they don't have room for in the book because of page counts and everything else. This is a place where we can add this, and this really can be a one-stop shop for everything related to the class that you're looking for. So these primers are going to be really something else. And just to kind of show you, I won't jump into all of these, but we are going to have the same thing for ancestries. So ancestries, you're going to be able to go in and see all of your options here. And then we can come down here. There are versatile heritages, which of course, if you play the game, you're aware these work a little bit differently. So all of that is going to be available. And then finally, we are also going to have an archetypes primer that is going to let you come in here and view the archetypes and view everything that you would see about that archetype. So all of the information that is going to come from the book, and then all of the feats. And of course, I can look at all these feats, and this is interesting because as we are getting into this is one thing that is not quite in yet, but on an archetype, since there are so few feats that are listed, once you open this page, you will come in and this will all be auto expanded when you come into the page, where it's going to be really, really easy to see what you need to find for any of these archetypes. So that is where I will stop the sneak peek for today. But as you can see, tons of activity going on. We have some really, really incredible things headed your way. I can't wait personally to be able to show off some really, really cool things there. I can't wait for the Lost Omens content to be back or out there into the wild, because we've put a lot of work into that. And as always, this is early access, so really looking for help from the community as this goes out. If there's anything that you see that we've had half a dozen people pouring over this content, but it's so much, and we are converting it from a digital printer file to this new digital web format. And in doing that, definitely going to run into some places where that conversion doesn't quite work right. So if you see any inconsistencies or anything else, report those on our forums, Discord, any of the places that you can get in touch with us. And we have a team that will definitely be all over that and getting everything fine-tuned. And that's why early access is so helpful and useful for us. All right, upcoming, let's jump into that next. So as we do each week for Pathfinder Nexus, We talk about where we are in the early access process, where no one is confused about that. We've got our digital reader out. We've got the game compendium coming together as primers are released. That is going to be what we're going to consider, a complete feature with the game compendium. That doesn't mean that there isn't going to be follow-up development and enhancements for years to come there, but that is where phase 2 for us is really going to close. From a development standpoint, and then we're going to continue to gather feedback in that for a while we are getting phase 3, which is character management together. And like I said, it's not going to be too much further down the road where I'm going to be able to give a little bit of a sneak peek into what that is looking like as it starts to come together too. And then new show announcement. I can't quite announce it today because we are trying to get a few more ducks in a row for this. But I can tell you that we have Strixhaven Chaos going on right now on our channel, so you can watch that tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific. Awesome show. B. Dave Walters is leading. My friends, we've got some friends that have played together for 3+ years at this point, and leading us through some of the kind of a whirlwind 8-part series through a lot of the Strixhaven curriculum of chaos content, and that's been a real blast. But that is going to wrap up, let me make sure I get this date right. I believe it's March the 1st is the 8th episode of that. And so we are going to be debuting a new show on March the 15th, and I love it. It's the Ides of March. So we're going to be on the Ides of March debuting a new show. And like I said, I can't quite tell you what that is yet, but I can tell you that it is going to be something else. And I have played games like this for way too long at this point, I think 30 years or so. So as I've played these games, I remember the excitement the first time that I played, the West End game Star Wars D6 game where Ryder Thorne, who was very similar to Han Solo, but he wasn't a smuggler. He was a space privateer. And he didn't use a blaster pistol. He used a blaster rifle. So really different than Han Solo. But playing those games and how excited I got about that just every single time we got together to play. And then, of course, in the years since, just so much excitement when these things come together. I don't know if I have ever been more excited to play in something than what we are about to play in. It scratches the world that we're going to be experiencing, scratches every itch that I want scratched when I'm playing these games. And so I'm really just jacked out of my mind with energy and emotion about what is going to happen starting the Ides of March 15th. And so in the next couple of weeks, we're going to unveil what that is and unveil everyone who's going to be involved. So that is a super mega tease from me. But I do mainly the point for today is to let everybody know that we got something big coming, and we're going to share more about that in the next couple of weeks. And so we have a plan. And once Strixhaven wraps up, there's going to be something super awesome that we're going to be putting out. So more on that in a couple of weeks. All right. I think it is now time for questions. So I will get to as many as I can. Let me see if I can find my questions somewhere. Let's see. All right, here we go. All right, got a few in here. So if you have any other questions, type question and then ask it in chat, and we will go from there. So first we have AKA Kira. Are there plans to implement views of other players' character sheets, or even a simplified view, and or a DM quick reference section as a sort of virtual GM screen? That is an excellent question, and let me read it one more time where I can make sure that I can consolidate this answer. Yes, on all of the above. There are plans for all of those things. And so there will be at some point in the future, we will have a concept of groups. And so you can get together with a group, and as the group is together, you will be able to do things like see other players in the group's character sheets. You will be able to see that as a game master for sure, and you'll be able to, through permissions, be able to edit things if you're the game master on the sheet. So this is helpful if a game master wants to gift magic items or whatever in the middle of or in between sessions. Able to do that quickly and easily. And then the virtual GM screen, these are all concepts that we are very, very into. And when people say that, especially in a virtual or digital sense, we have found, and I personally have found over the years, that people mean different things by that. And so I don't necessarily know exactly what you mean by that, but what I can say is we are putting together something that we would consider that is essentially a quick reference guide, kind of thing for a GM to be able to use, or players to be able to reference during play to make play easier. And so, of course, the game compendium is a big component of that, but aggregating some of that information and possibly being able to favorite that information, those are all things that we are talking about, and we think it'll be the case. So then we have Trevco 613. Will the Book of Dead be available on the street date of March the 30th? And this is where some breaking news, to me anyway, perhaps that date has been delayed. What I can tell you is that, Hell's or High Water, we are planning to have it available on the street date. And so if that has been moved from the 30th, which again, I can't see chat right now, but it sounds like it has, then we would have it available on the street date. But we, now that we have caught up with Lost Omens content, rulebook content, we are definitely forging ahead and looking to have that available on the street date. April 27th, the voice in my head, who is Josh Simons, who has joined us as a community and content manager who is producing our stream today. He has alerted me that it is April 27th. And so, yes, I am feeling very good that there will be no issues having that available by April 27th. Creative Burst, will buying part of a book be available before or during launch? So at the moment, that is something that would be essentially reserved for, or the primary use case is, looking at it from a character perspective. And so piecemeal purchases or component purchases, where you can buy, hey, this ancestry that you really, really want to play, that kind of thing would be available with character management. I don't know if it's going to be available immediately with character management, but it is definitely connected with that feature more than any of the other components, because the digital reader, for instance, we're not going to be selling parts of books in the digital reader. And so, if you unlock the source, it will be available fully in the digital reader, but then all the options in that source will be available in character management. But then if you are playing and you want, if you're just a player that is not going to run a book and you don't want to read the entire book, you absolutely would have the flexibility to buy just that versatile heritage that you're really wanting to play, all of that. And of course, that is going to be priced as you would expect that to be for a smaller purchase like that. So it's going to be very accessible from that standpoint. If you have that more limited scope, that like, hey, I am playing and I want these options for my character, you will be able to do that and have that flexibility. We'll provide more details on, again, the timing of that, but it is going to be connected to the character management piece. Kafian, will you start putting out certain areas that you want us to poke around and test? So at the moment, we definitely want you to test the digital reader. So if you see anything in the digital reader that is inconsistent with the book or anything else, uh, let us know on the forums. Many people have already done this, and we jump on that very quickly. And so that is incredibly helpful to us because, again, that translation process from an InDesign file into what is rendered on a web page, there's a long road there. And so sometimes things get misplaced, or sometimes the great thing about getting this into this format for the Pathfinder game is there have been many places where we have found things that will end up becoming errata in future printings of the books, because just different medium, different format that you're looking at it, people can identify things. So that is always helpful. So if you find anything like that, the digital reader, by all means let us know. And then right now, as we get the game compendium primers in place, hopefully very soon here, once that is happening, then the focus is going to be on the phase 2 feature, which is the game compendium. But at this point in time, we do not have places where we are wanting anyone to go in and stress test necessarily. So there's nothing that's like, hey, we want everyone hitting this at the same time within the next hour. There are no pieces that would fall into that category yet, but there could be as we start walking down the road into character management. And if we need that kind of testing and that would be helpful to us, we will be sure to broadcast that on all of our channels and keep people posted. Anchor 89, will content sharing happen during early access or after? It's hard to know exactly the timing of that, because early access for us might mean something different to you. And so what I can say is that content sharing is a definite thing that will happen. It is intrinsic to what we're doing on the platform, and so there's no question of whether it will happen or not. But we definitely believe that it is an important element that is going to be part of what we think is fully launching Pathfinder Nexus. And so again, I'm not trying to obfuscate or be tricky when I say that. It's mainly just simply saying that it is a very high priority for us, and where we deem something fully launched or early access has ended, that might not be connected necessarily to when content sharing is in place, but content sharing is a major priority for us. And as far as that goes, I would say the only thing that would be higher priority than getting something like content sharing in place would be the 3 big rocks, the big features that are composing the initial launch of the platform itself. So the digital reader, which again, we already have that out into early access. The game compendium is coming together, and then the character management pieces. If we don't get those 3 things right, then what are we doing here? So those are the biggest priority. But I can say that content sharing is in that next tier of priorities right after that. And so whether that happens in parallel or not, we're not quite sure yet, but it is definitely very important to us, and it is going to happen. Darkade, are there things from a past life that were on the bottom of priorities that as a team you have now at the top? The stories I could tell. Yeah, there's been a lot of hindsight that has been very beneficial in the new life here, and it's all very exciting to see that. I won't dive into all the details there, but I can say that there have been many circumstances where we have been able to say, hey, is that going to paint us into a corner? And we have been able to say, let's just decide not to do it then. And so I'm really pleased with the way that all of this is coming together, and I can't wait to see how this is going to look and feel for Pathfinder. But I also cannot wait to see what this is going to mean for World of Darkness. I can't wait to play Vampire, and Hunter, and of course, Werewolf's been announced. Cannot wait to use these tools to play those games. I can't wait to see what is going to happen with Free League, with Alien. There's this movie and its sequel that I really love called Blade Runner. You might have heard of it. There's just so much excitement coming on the Free League side as well. So being able to have all these tools and be able to learn from the things that have happened before us is all just super super satisfying, and it is really fun to think about all of those things coming together, and then the many things that we haven't even been able to tell you about. We'll tell you about in the coming months. There is more than that coming for Demiplane. So really, really excited about where all of these things are headed. We could not do any of this without you, the community, and fans out there who are playing these games, who are helping us test during early access. We really do appreciate you more than you know. Thank you so much for your great attitude. Thank you for all of that help, and thank you for being on this adventure with us. All right, I'm a little bit over on time today, but thanks for all of those questions. I appreciate them all. I will see you next week for some more updates, and any questions that you didn't get to ask this week, by all means, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at Bad Eye Adam. I am happy to answer most anything, most anytime. So feel free to ask those questions, and join us tonight for, oh goodness, episode, is this 6? I think it's episode 6. Episode 6. Josh is in my ear again. He is on the spot. Thank you so much, Josh. So, episode 6 of Strixhaven Chaos tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week. Later, Gators.